Good morning, students. Yesterday, we discussed about some introductory information from electrostatics. We learned right from what we mean by charge. Later on, we had discussion about, excuse me kindly. Excuse me, there was a problem with the sound arrangement. So I was mentioning that in the yesterday's class we discussed some basic information in connection with charge. So we started our discussion right from what is meant by charge. After that, I had also mentioned in connection with charge, always we use not only with charge in electricity, like electric charge, electric field, electric potential. So bit history about the word electric I had narrated in the yesterday's class. After that, we had a discussion about, in the very last of the class, we had a discussion about basic properties of electric charge. And while dealing with those basic properties, I have mentioned just four. One, talking about what kind of force we can have between the charges. Like charges will repel, unlike charges will attract. Followed by, I had mentioned about what are the precautions that one need to be taken while adding the charges. About additive property. And third and most important one, we had a discussion about quantization of electric charge, which tells us that transfer of charge is possible with one limitation. And the limitation is, we cannot transfer any amount, continuous manner the charge from one body to another body. We can transfer charge in the integral multiple of one minimum amount. That minimum amount, if you remember, we had mentioned as elementary charge. And as such, as far as while transferring the elementary charge is concerned, we take it as a charge on electron or charge on proton as an elementary charge. But as such, for your kind information, that's not the elementary charge. Rather, charge on quarks is the elementary charge. In spite of that, we take charge on electron and proton as elementary. The reason is very simple. Whatever the elementary charge as a quark I mentioned, that's not in a stable state while transferring. We cannot transfer. Rather, these quark particles, fundamental particles, happens to be the constituents for the protons as well as neutron. For your additional information, as such, there are 6 types of the quarks, like up quark, charm, top quark. down quark, sideway quark, and bottom quark. All these are 6 quarks particles what we mention as per the recent information in the field of electrostatic. And for your additional information, charge on the up quark, charge on the charm, charge on the top quark, it's plus 2 by 3e. 2/3 of the elementary charge what we have mentioned yesterday. But a charge on down quark, sideway quark, and bottom quark, we have got minus 1 by 3 times of E, I would say. So this is about what we have learned, quantization condition in the yesterday's class. And very last, I had also mentioned about conservative property of electric charge. Apart from these 4, there are few more properties which one need to know. But right now I am not going to mention them. As and when I progress in the chapter, wherever I need help of those additional properties, I will be recalling them, I will be taking for discussion, and along with that I can discuss in detail about those additional properties. So today let me go ahead with one very important and basic method or concept you call in the electrostatic, and it is electrification. Listen properly, very important. As you know, each and everything has a building block as atoms. And to remind you about atom, you learned in the earlier classes, lower classes. Atom has got a central massive positively charged part called as a nucleus, which consists of 2 types of particles, protons and neutrons. Charge on proton plus E. Deliberately I just say as a plus E because E we have discussed in the form of elementary charge. 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 positive charge. But a charge on neutron, 0. They do not have any charge. That is why they have been called as a neutral or neutrons. So whatever charge nucleus of an atom consists, that is completely contributed by positive protons in the nucleus. Whereas around the nucleus we have electrons revolving in a different orbit. So all this background about atom you know. But the point which I would like to bring to you is, as I was mentioning, every body is made up of atom, has a building block as atom. So every atom consists of positive charge in the form of protons in nucleus, negative charge in the form of electrons around the nucleus. So every body consists of 2 types of charges. Every atom, and consequently I would call as a body, because atoms happens to be the building block of every body. So every body has got positive as well as negative charge. But all these bodies under normal condition, under normal situation, consist of equal amount of positive charge and equal amount of negative charge. So if you take an atom for the discussion, say helium atom I take, which we write as He24. It has got 2 protons, and when I write that as a representation for atom, has got 2 electrons also. So what I mean is that every atom has got equal number of electrons and protons, but mind that my statement is under normal condition. Got it? So I mean every atom has got equal number of protons and electrons under normal condition. So consequently, charge on every atom, if I ask you to calculate, as the number of protons and electrons being same, positive charge and negative charge in the atom or on the atom will be same. So as net charge on the atom is equal to 0. So thus I am mentioning about atom under normal condition. So net charge on the atom is 0. Such atoms which have got net charge as 0 are called neutral atoms or simply neutral. So starting from this atomic level, I can go to the whole body. Visualize the picture. Whole body is made up of many atoms. Every atom satisfies the condition of having equal number of protons and electrons under normal condition. So as given body will have equal number of protons and electrons, equal amount of positive charge and negative charge. So as net charge on the body under normal condition will be 0. So that body I can call as a neutral body. Neutral यानी it do not possess net charge. Now this having a net charge 0 or being a neutral, you might have got it now by this time, is due to one simple reason. And what is that reason? There is a delicate balance between amount of positive charge and amount of negative charge, number of protons and number of electrons, and that delicate balance between the protons and electrons makes the body to have net charge 0. So what we do in this process called electrification is a very simple job. We try to disturb the balance which I am talking about. I mentioned to have a net charge 0, that delicate balance is responsible. So the question is that, what if we disturb that delicate balance which I am talking about? Let's see what would happen then. Say for example, I have a body. Let me assume that this body consists of 100 protons and 100 electrons, just for example. So I mean that positive charge in that body I have got plus 100 E, negative charge in the body I have got minus 100 E. Each proton will have plus E, so 100. Each electron will have minus E, so 100 electron. And net charge on that body I have got equal to plus 100 E minus 100 E. Nothing new I am doing, just I am taking an assistance of the property of charge which we studied. So I mean additive property of charge. I'm adding that. That's it. So the net charge on this body, how much do I have? Equal to 0. So right now the body is electrically neutral. Now I can find a way by which I can disturb this balance. There are different ways I search. I'll come to that discussion. So what I would like to do, the balance which I have got between number of protons and electrons, I would like to disturb. How we shall see. Right now, let's go into the basic first. And for your information, when you think of disturbing that balance, I should remind you that from a body or from an atom, it's easy to remove electrons than the protons. The reason is very simple. If you would like to remove protons from the nucleus, tremendous amount of energy you have to use it. You have to supply. Whereas electron, with a bit amount of energy, you can remove the electrons from orbits of atom. So what I mean as overall, electrons can be removed from a body. With this statement, you should remember the earlier part of my statement. What I say, easily. When I say only electrons can be removed, I do not mean proton cannot be. The only intention to mention in that way, easily. Electrons can be removed with a less amount of energy, with a bit amount of energy. So that's what I would like to do then. From this body which I have taken for discussion, I would like to remove electrons. Let's see what would happen. So again, this is the body which I am talking about. As I mentioned, it has got 100 protons. These 100 protons will contribute positive charge, which I would write Q plus, subscript plus to say positive, and that is equal to 100 E. Now the thing which I am going to do is that out of 100 electrons, few I am going to remove. How, you don't ask me right now. I am going to remove by some method, which we shall discuss with the due course of time as we progress in this chapter. So right now let me mention, by some method I am going to remove 10 electrons. So then naturally, when I remove 10 electrons out of 100, how many are left out? Needless to say, 90. Now the number of electrons in that body which I have got is 90. Negative charge which the body possesses, I have got now minus 90 E. Simple thing I have done. Just I am trying to disturb that balance by removing electrons. And if I ask you to tell me the net charge on that body now, again, who is going to come to our rescue? Additive property. So the net charge in the body I have got now 100 E minus 90 E. Simple arithmetic calculation of fourth standard. You all can do that. And what do I get here? Plus 10 E. So the net charge on that body I have got plus 10 E. And now no longer the body is neutral, which I had before. I had a net charge 0, it was neutral, but now it's not a neutral. It do possess some amount of charge. And what is that amount of charge? Plus 10E, positive charge. So might have seen now that disturbing the balance, what has happened? I would say body has acquired charge. See, again the statement which I am making need to be taken very carefully. Body has acquired charge, I said. Does it mean that body did not have charge before? It did have. Positive charge it had, negative charge it had. The only thing, net charge was 0. But now, net charge is not 0, it is a non-zero. And it is plus 10e. Such body which possesses net non-zero charge are to be referred as charged bodies or electrified bodies. So might have come now what I mean by that. So when do you call the body as a charge? When it possesses net non-zero charge. We call the body as a charged body or electrified body. And the process in which this is happening, what is that happening? Net charge is becoming non-zero. Such process in which we make a body from net zero charge to non-zero charge is called electrification. Important word. It can also be referred as charging. I think this is a household word. Charging, we often say. What we do is actually, net non-zero charge over there, we try to have is other than 0. So let me consolidate now. What I mean by the process which I have mentioned here. Electrification. So I would put in words in this way. The process in which by removing electrons, body can acquire net non-zero charge, such process to be called electrification. I repeat, the process in which by removal of electrons, body is made to have non-zero charge, net non-zero charge is called electrification. Now by mentioning just by removing, by this time probably you might have had a question in your mind. Sir, what about if added? Or is it that only the removal is the process to go for electrification? Not necessarily to be. Even by adding the electrons, what would happen? Let me see. Again, let me take for the discussion here. Same body I have got. Number of protons I have got 100. Number of electrons I had 100. But now what I would like to do, I will add 10 more electrons. I will take from other body and add in this. Of course, it's not like so easy like taking something from one basket and putting into another. But their own methods are there. Whatever it is, by that method, I am going to add 10 more electrons over here. Then obviously, number of electrons I would have here now, 110. If I ask you to calculate now net positive charge and net negative charge, I would have positive charge, again same repetition. Negative charge I have got now 110e. Net charge I have got now as a minus 10e. So you might have got it now. It is not only the removal of electron. Here you have removed electrons. Whereas in this case, I am adding the electron. By both way, either by removal or by addition, I could see that net charge on the body is non-zero. So let me just revise the definition of electrification then. The process in which by removal or addition of electrons, body is made to acquire net and non-zero charge is called electrification or charging. And even with the due course of my discussion, you might have noticed the effects of removal or addition. When you remove electron, look here, body has acquired positive charge. When you added electron, body has acquired negative charge. Important to consolidate from the point of competitive exams. Simple questions you may have. From a body, if electrons are removed, it would acquire a charge. Nature of charge acquired by that body, I would say that it is a positive. If electrons are added, I would say the body is going to acquire negative. So acquiring a positive charge, it doesn't mean that you have created anything positive there. It was there already. What you did is that disturbing the balance. Earlier, over here in normal condition, they were going hand together. I mean, number of protons and electrons were same. But here, as soon as you remove electrons, protons become dominant. Charge of the proton became dominant, and that contributed to have net charge as a positive. By adding the electrons, number of electrons became more, and that contributed to the negative charge. So very important then, removal of electrons lead to the acquiring positive charge. Addition of electrons leads to acquiring negative charge. Once I got into this basic, let me go ahead to discuss about different methods of electrification. I said generally we talk about 3 methods of electrification. Of course, one more also need to be mentioned, 4. But generally while dealing with basics, as we progress in this chapter, that 4th also I shall take for discussion. But right now I would say there are 3 basic methods of electrification. So let's go ahead to study details about methods of electrification. Okay. There are, as I mentioned, 3 methods of electrification. First of which, electrification by the method called friction. Second one, electrification by the method called conduction. Third one, electrification by induction. So these are three different methods of electrification. So let's take each of them one by one for discussion. To begin with, first, electrification by friction. So before I go actually to the discussion of this method, let me remind you few basic things in connection with friction. What's your idea of friction? Whenever there is a relative motion between the two surfaces, I mean a block slided over a rough surface, to that relative motion, by virtue of intermolecular forces, or rather I would say because of which is electromagnetic in nature, because of surface forces there you can say. So what I mean is that, let me not go in details of friction, there is opposition to the relative motion between two surfaces, and such opposing force we call simply as a friction or frictional force. And it is to a very common experience of all of us. Like if you just rub your two palms with each other for a while, what happens? Very soon we find our palms getting heated. Now from where do this heat comes? Whatever work you have done in overcoming that friction, that work appears as heat energy across those two surfaces. So this I need to carry forward for my discussion in this method. What is that? When there is a friction between two surfaces, heat is produced across them. So this heat is produced by the friction. The second important thing which I need to mention you is, of course you might have not studied in physics but probably in chemistry. Say I have a sample, I have a body, like conductor I have. When I mention conductor, I should also tell you that the material called conductor will have abundance of free electrons. With the energy whatever body possesses in normal state, with that energy, electrons from outermost orbit of the atom get removed, and such electrons will be available in that material as a free electrons. What we call them as a free electrons, which I would like to show over here. These are free electrons. They help for conduction, so we can also refer them as conduction electrons. So what are conduction electrons or free electrons? Which are free. They can roam here and there in the sample itself. They cannot come out of the surface, and that's because of surface barrier. With whatever the energy, kinetic energy they possess, suppose by mistake if any one of electron is trying to come out of the surface, with whatever energy it has, just coming out of that electron will create a positive charge on the surface, removal of electron. and immediately that positive charge will pull down the electron. I mean attraction. So very easily electrons cannot come out of the surface on their own. And for that, what we mentioned, because of surface forces. Surface forces, I mean attraction, doesn't allow electrons or free electrons to come out of the surface. Now the question is that what we need to do to make those electrons to come out of the surface. For that, you will have to supply external energy. So to remove electrons, you will have to supply external energy. That external energy can be in any form. It can be in the form of light. It can be in the form of heat. It can be in the form of influence of electric field. It can be in the form of influence of magnetic field. It can be in the form of kinetic energy of the particles also, mechanical energy I mean. So what my point? What I mean is that to remove the electrons from the surface of given sample, one has to supply external energy. And such minimum amount of external energy that we need to supply is called work function. So what is work function then? Minimum amount of external energy to be supplied is called work function. And from material to material, you would require different amount of energy to be supplied. So what I simply mean that from material to material work function will differ. So I mean work function is a characteristic of sample. Work function is a characteristic of material. It's not same for all the material. From material to material, it will differ. So I need these two important points for my further discussion. So what I mentioned about heat produced by friction, and second thing I have got to introduce you about the work function. Now by having become familiar with these two concepts, I would say, let me straight away take you to the method called electrification by friction. So in this method, what we do is that we select two suitable bodies. Important. What I have to do? Select suitable bodies. Important word. Now the question when I write this naturally may come. So what I mean by suitable bodies? It simply means that the bodies which you have selected should not have same work function. Now why, what for, we shall discuss. So right now what I mentioned is that the two selected bodies should not have same work function. One should be of higher work function and another should be of lower work function. After taking such two suitable bodies, I will rub them with each other. In this method, what is the second thing I have to do? Two suitably selected bodies need to be rubbed with each other. Say I have taken glass and silk as the two suitable samples. Glass is one material and silk is another material, suitable, of different web function. And for your information, glass has got lower web function compared to silk. So that's the criteria you need to have. Selected bodies should not have same work function. That's it. Nothing else than that. Why? We shall discuss. Then after those selected suitably bodies, we have rubbed with each other. And I have mentioned you that because of rubbing the two surfaces with each other, heat gets produced by the method of, or heat get produced because of friction. So when I start rubbing glass rod with her, I will see that both the surfaces have got heated. I see that glass rod has got heated, silk has got heated. So both the surfaces have got heat, have got heat produced by the friction. They receive that heat. And then this heat makes electrons from that body which has got lower work function. See, indirectly by going for friction, what is our intention? Having the heat. For what do we need heat? To remove the electrons. As I mentioned, to remove electrons, we need the heat. We need the energy, that energy is in the form of heat here. How much energy do you need? Minimum equal to this much work function. What would happen more than that? Chalta hai. It would be better if it is more than that, but minimum it should have at least this much. So then, because of the heat produced, we will have electrons removed from one of the body. In the present discussion, I have taken a glass rod and a silk cloth. This is the silk cloth what I am talking about. What did I do? I rubbed them with each other. And the process of rubbing has resulted into heat produced across both the surfaces. But the surface which required less amount of heat, less amount of energy to allow the electrons to come out of the surface. Like from glass rod, I have got electrons getting removed. From glass rod, electrons are removed. Why? Because glass rod has got lower work function, whereas silk I mentioned is of higher work function, required more amount of heat, and the one which is produced by the friction is not sufficient. Because of that, from silk no more electrons are removed. I got only electrons removed from glass rod, and those removed electrons are being transferred to. Now question is, sir, removed electrons, where do they go? Naturally to that surface which is in contact with it. Glass rod we are rubbing with silk, naturally will go to the silk. So these removed electrons will transfer to silk. Now what would happen? Say for example, glass rod I have got 50 protons and 50 electrons under normal condition, whereas silk I have got 100 protons, 100 electrons under normal condition. Net charge on the glass rod before the rubbing 0. Net charge on the silk before the rubbing 0. But by the process of rubbing, because of the heat produced, I have have got, say for example, just I have shown only 3 here, but let me mention, say for example, when 20 electrons from glass rod are transferred to the cell. And now you can understand number of electrons on the glass rod now, no more it is 50. How many electrons do I have on the glass rod now? On the glass rod I will have 50 protons and 30 electrons, sorry, not 20, 30 electrons, because 20 are removed. Before we had 50. And now the net charge on the glass rod is no longer 0. How much is net charge on the glass rod now? I have got equal to 20E, and that to plus 20E. Similarly, on the silk, if I mention here, how many protons do you have on the silk? 100 protons. See, mind that. As such number of proton is not going to get disturbed at all with the amount of energy that we are supplying. In the beginning itself I mentioned, you need a tremendous amount of energy. This amount of energy will not do. So you mean number of protons is not going to get disturbed? Then what about number of electrons on the cell? You have got additional electrons transferred from the glass rod. How many additional electrons? 20. So total I have got now 120 electrons on the cell. And as together now, if I work out net charge on the cell, I will have equal to and plus 100E minus 120E, and totally how much it is then? Minus 20E. Very important. Look here. So both the bodies which have taken part in the process of rubbing have acquired now net non-zero charge. Glass rod has got plus 20E. Silk has got minus 20E. And interestingly, as I mentioned before also, the body which is of lower work function will acquire positive charge. Glass rod is of lower work function. The body which is of higher work function not going to lose the electrons, rather can gain the electrons, will acquire negative charge. And one more interesting fact that I need to mention here is about avoiding the law of conservation of charge. We had mentioned in yesterday's class, charge can neither be created nor can be destroyed. At the instant when I discuss this, you may feel, sir has created a positive charge on the glass rod. Did I do so? No. I did not create a positive charge. A positive charge already is there. What did I do is that I disturbed the balances. You may feel that sir has created negative charge on the cell. I did not do that. Again I disturbed the balance. But I such. Again the net charge on that system if you take before the process and after the process. Before the process, net charge on these two bodies together we had 0. After the process, plus 20E minus 20E, net charge on the body is 0. So what I mean is that even in the process of electrification, by friction, no longer we are going anything against law of conservation of charge. Law of conservation of charge, in fact I would say, holds good during electrification by friction. You got net amount of charge as a 0. So hope you got me. Like this glass rod and silk, you can select any another pair which can be referred as suitable. The only criteria for that word suitable of different verb function, that's it. While discussing about this process, one more question which you may have in your curious question in your mind, and have been asked in the competitive exams also. Does it affect to the masses of that bodies, of those bodies? What's the question? If I go for the electrification by charging, electrification by friction, the question is that, does it make any impact on the masses of those bodies? You can think over it. And if you do so, obviously, the answer you are going to get is yes. Yes, we do have change in the mass of the bodies in the electrification. And that's due to a simple reason. What is that reason? You are either removing electrons or adding the electrons. And electron being the particles of finite mass, though small but not negligible, finite mass you have got. How much is the mass of electron? Every electron possesses a mass 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 kg. So small, but not, you cannot neglect. That's a finite value. Then obviously, from glass rod you have removed electrons. You have removed mass, I would say. In the silk you have added electrons, you have added mass, I would say. So because of removal or addition of electrons, naturally that will affect to the mass of the respective bodies. And to be understood here, the body which gains positive charge, the body which acquires positive charge, will lose the mass because electrons are removed, whereas the bodies which acquires negative charge gain the mass because electrons are added there, mass is added there. So conceptually need to be understood, positively charged body, what do you mention for this? Lose mass. And second next, what is that? Negatively charged body will gain the mass. But this is not enough from the perspective of competitive exam. I may be asked further, how much is that loss or gain in the mass? For that, what I simply need to do, I need to understand, I need to know how many electrons have been lost or removed. I need to know how many electrons are added. If I know the number of electrons either removed or added, can I work out loss in the mass or gain in the mass? Yes. See, one electron is removed. This is the loss of mass. 2 electrons are removed. 2 into this much. 3 electrons are removed. 3 into this much. So loss in the mass equal to number of electrons removed or added. Loss or gain in the mass equal to number of electrons removed or added into mass of each electron. So then when I have to work out change in the mass, delta m I write equals to number of electrons removed or added into mass of electron. The subscript I am writing to mention mass of electron. And the question is that, may I know how many electrons are removed if I know that some 20 coulomb, 30 coulomb of charge is acquired? Yes, I do. I have a condition yesterday studied called quantization condition. which we mathematically we have written as Q equal to N into E. So then obviously from that quantization condition I can substitute value of N, and thus I would write then delta M equal to Q divided by E into ME, and this equation I would write with the plus or minus. Say if charge acquired by the body is plus, you will have this delta M as a minus. So you mean loses the mass. Say if the charge acquired is minus, negative charge, you do minus, this minus minus will become plus. Delta M is positive. So you mean body will gain the mass. So simply to consolidate, positive charge, body will lose the mass. Negative charge, body will gain the mass. So this is all about what we need to understand, what we need to remember is the method called electrification by friction. And I hope you might have got all these details about electrification by friction. Let me go ahead to the second method. And the second method that we are going to talk is about electrification by conduction. So in this method again we take two bodies. Now the question that you may have, sir, is that condition of suitable bodies here? Not necessary. So the two bodies that you take, only one thing need to be there. What is that? One of the body should be already charged by some method, other method you can think of it. And another body need to be uncharged. That uncharged body we would like to charge. We would like to electrify. Say for example like this. I have got one body which need to be charged. This conductor I have, let me mention, which I have just made to stand down like one insulated support. I mentioned that this is an uncharged body. By this time now you can understand what I mean. It has got net charge 0. It has got equal number of protons and electrons uncharged. So this is the uncharged body which I would like to charge. And as I mentioned, you need to take one more body which is already charged. Say glass rod I take. By method of friction I have got it charged already. And that glass rod, that charged body, I bring in contact with charged body. So what we need to do? Uncharged body and charged body need to be brought in contact. And you all know charge on the glass rod is positive. Deficiency of electron the glass rod has got. Why that deficiency? Electrons are removed. So I am indirectly telling you one more thing. What basically is the positive charge? Diffusion of electron. Like some chairs are there. On 6 chairs are there. 6 persons are sitting on those respective chairs. So over there, equal number of persons and chairs I have got. I'll say net charge is 0 there. Whereas if one or two persons gets up and go, I would say deficiency of person is created there. So vacancy is created there. Such vacancy, such deficiency in the electricity, in the electrostatic, we call as a positive charge. We also refer them as a hole. We refer them holes. Holes you do not expect like something through which you can peep into. So holes are positive charge, the deficiency of electrons we call. Okay, anyhow we shall discuss all these details as we go ahead. So right now let me focus on this electrification by conduction. So what did I say about this? Two bodies you need to take. One of the body need to be charged, as like a glass rod here I have. Another body need to be uncharged, as I have got one conductor taken over there. Now what's the further thing I have to do? Bring them in contact. And as soon as you do this side before itself mentioned like a conductor I have. Free electrons it has got, ample of free electrons, abundant of free electrons roaming here and there, but not coming out of the surface. But as soon as you bring this positively charged body in contact, electrons from this conductor will start getting attracted towards the glass rod. So what is going to happen then? Because of attraction by the positive charges on this glass rod, electrons will start moving towards the glass rod. Like one electron comes, empty chairs are there. Now people are coming from this conductor to those empty chairs. Like first person comes, occupy this place, and that vacancy is filled. Second person comes, but meanwhile what has happened? One person from this body has gone to the other side, and that would result into creating a hole here, creating a deficiency here. Second electron goes here, this vacancy is filled, but that will affect to have a vacancy over here. So this will keep on happening. Electrons from this body will go to the glass rod until both of them acquires same potential. As like in heat flow, temperature decides flow of heat. As like in water flow, level of liquid decides the flow, direction of flow. In electricity, we have a term called potential. So it is the potential which decides flow of electrons. So this flow of electrons or flow of charge will continue until they become equipotential. And once that happens, that transfer of electrons or transfer of charge will stop. Then you can remove this glass rod, and by that time what will happen then? This body acquiring positive charge. Is it not something like that, like a positive charge is transferred from glass rod to the body? Yes. We can say it in that way roughly, but actually that has not happened. Is that a positive charge which has moved? No, never. It never happens same in case of positive charge. I have mentioned already. Positive charge, it cannot be moved very easily. So rather what has happened? Movable charges have moved. And which is that movable charge? Naturally electron. Electron has gone to the glass rod, resulting into this body acquiring positive charge. And after that, if you break the contact, you will see this acquiring positive charge, whereas glass rod, of course, some of the positive charge is neutralized there. So, but my intention is getting this body as a charge, and that I could do. By the simple method in which there is a contact between the bodies, in which there is a conduction of charge from one body to the another, and getting the bodies electrified by conduction because of flow, actual flow, by having a contact, we call as a electrification by conduction. Now you can think of, instead of taking this positively charged glass rod, if I take ebonite rod rubbed suitably with fur prior to this process itself, and you, for your kind information, ebonite rod acquires negative charge. If I bring a negatively charged ebonite rod in contact here, what would happen now? Will it happen same as it has happened before? I mean, will the electrons from this body will go to the ebonite rod? No. This body has got zero potential, whereas ebonite rod is being negatively charged, has got potential. So then obviously electrons, because many excess of electrons are there. If one kind excess of same kind excess of electrons will try to oppose each other, because like charges repel, and naturally their efforts will be to move away, go away. But because the contact they are not going anywhere. But as soon as you make contact, those electrons will start moving towards the conductor. So those excess electrons slowly will start moving to the conductor. Do all excess move? No. That motion will continue, that transfer will continue until they become equipotential. And again, when that stops, you can remove the contact. You will see this body acquiring negative charge. Very important. When I took a glass rod, positively charged glass rod, the body in this method, uncharged body in this method, acquired positive charge. When I took ebonite rod, negatively charged rod, uncharged body in this method, acquired negative charge. So I mean that in the method of electrification by conduction, uncharged body acquires same kind of charge as to that of the taken charged body. And this is all about the method which we call electrification by conduction. So in the tomorrow's class, we shall discuss about one more left out method, I mean electrification by induction, very interesting, and followed by one fundamental law in the electrostatic which we call Coulomb's law. So till then, goodbye.
ಸರ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ
ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ
ಓದ್ತು
ಮೈಕ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಮೈಕ್